Hey guys, Joel from MoonlitsHollow. I'm testing out a headset today for my audio. I've heard in my videos it's quite low, difficult to hear sometimes. So we're just going to trial this for this video and see how we go, because I don't really want to buy a professional mic for this. So in today's video, we're going to be doing Spirit Keeping 101. I've decided to make sort of segmented series on different subjects. I'm a bit of an old soul. I do like to ramble about things, so I thought that if I can keep each video, one video or a couple of videos per subject, um, we can sort of keep them short, sweet, and easy to listen to. So in today's video, we're going to cover a couple things. So we're going to cover spirit keeping. What is spirit keeping? Spirit keeping, there's a big community around it with lots of different definitions, terms, terminologies, etc. In my opinion, spirit keeping is the act of having spirits bound to you, whether that be through, i.e., a spirit vessel such as a piece of jewelry, a doll, a gemstone, something of a material value, or bound to you directly, your soul, your spirit. Why do people spirit keep? Well, spirits, for people that dabble in the metaphysical or in the spiritual realm, spirits can be invaluable practice partners. They become lifelong friends, companions, familiars, people that individuals that actively aid us in practice and help us become better. Um, and of course, friends. It's just there are friends, our family. We build connections with them. We get to know them. It's just like building a friendship with someone out in the street. It's the same thing, really. And that's why we do spirit keeping. Everyone has their own reasons. Some people might seek out a friend when they're going through some rough personal stuff. They might seek out. Um, some people have relationships with spirits or entities that are not incarnated right now, um, and so on and so forth. Everyone's reasons are different, and we all do it for different reasons. How do you go about spirit keeping? I see a lot of interesting terminology around spirit keeping and around people's perspective of spirits that I really want to clear up. What are spirits? They are souls that are not currently incarnated on a physical plane. This demonic spirit is no different to you and I. They have their own life, their family, they have a job, they make money, they live in their own world, where they're subject to societal laws and rules and governments, etc. They're no different to us. They simply aren't incarnated physically currently, and they are on a different plane of existence. They're allowed to just be their soul. They're not having to inhabit a physical body or a vessel. They're just, you know, more free form, basically. How would I go about organizing a binding between this demon and this person? Well, I would go about it by making a friendship or a bond with that specific spirit. They're no different to us. They just don't have a physical body. They have their own fears, dreams, aspirations, personalities, quirks, hobbies, interests, everything. Uh, No different to any one of us. So you need to think of spirits as, I guess, like distant friends. They're not alien compared to us. A lot of spiritual practitioners aren't human in the soul. And not that being human is makes you anything less, because it really doesn't. Everyone's capable of spiritual things. Some people more so than others. It's all just dependent on the individual. So you need to treat this entity, this spirit, like a person. Be respectful of them. Get to know them as a friend. Don't force a friendship. Don't force a connection. Ask them, would you be interested in being bound to someone in the interest of companionship, or in the interest of, learning more, experiencing a new world, alongside someone else, you know, gaining greater knowledge or wisdom on different subjects, establishing a romantic or platonic relationship, etc. All those sorts of things. That's how you forge a connection with a spirit. They're not separate to us. They're not anything different to us. They're just, a little bit different, basically. So we've covered what spirit keeping is. We've covered that spirits are the same as us, which is something I really want to get across. How we go about forging connections. When forging a connection with a spirit, we need to be mindful of their histories, their connections to others. You might have a celestial being. A lot of celestial versus dark, a lot of celestials don't like dark beings. Dark beings don't like light beings. It's just an instinctual thing because of the way the two energies sort of connect and how they interact on a energetic level. So we need to be mindful of that. We're not going to place a dark being in a spirit keeper's family that is comprised of light spirits who are really aggressive against dark spirits, because that would cause a negative experience for both the customer, or sorry, for the individual, for the family itself, the spirits, the spirit we're trying to bind to them, etc. You might have a earth elemental who's really big about nature and being respectful of the environment and of flora, fauna, animals, plants, etc. We need to be mindful of that. Pairing them with someone who doesn't care about the environment or nature will create a negative bond or situation for both spirit and incarnated person. So keep that in mind when you're working with spirits. Be respectful of their wishes, of their views and insights. You don't have to bow down to them, just like you don't have to bow down to anyone really, but be mindful and just respect their wishes. If there's a subject they feel strongly about, you may not agree with it, but you need to respect them, because working with spirits can be dangerous. These are entities that have power at the fingertips and can mess with you if they want to. Just like you're out in the street, you insult someone, you might get into a physical altercation. You know, um, things are a bit more common on the spiritual plane because there's a sense of a lack of consequences, other than either they pull up against another bigger fish in the ocean, so to speak, or they're caught while doing it. But things aren't as regimented as in you kill someone, you go to jail. It's, oh, they killed you, they're not going to find your body. Like things are not as regulated, and you can get yourself into trouble, basically. That was an extreme example, I apologize, but be respectful, don't get into silly situations. You remember that these are spirits, these are living, breathing people, and you know, if you act aggressively or act in a certain way, you may encounter some consequences of your actions. Just like if you were to be disrespectful or rude or aggressive or physically violent to anyone else on Earth as well. Different people have different thresholds for putting up with people's crap, basically. Same thing with spirits. They just have a bit more power at the fingertips to immediately screw with you if they want to. In the community, I see a lot of different definitions for spirits' personalities, alignments. The big one is grey, white, and black arts. So I really don't like these terms because I feel they're irrespective of a spirit's personality. You're sort of grouping and labeling spirits, based on their energies, but that's not really accurate. Just because a being has dark energies like darkness, void, chaos, whatever, doesn't make them chaotic. It doesn't necessarily make them evil or bad or have the intention to do bad or work with dark. It's all personality. Everyone's personality is different just because they're individuals. It's the same with spirits. I myself am a dark being. I'm tied into a lot of darker energies. I like to think I'm a pretty good person. I do a lot of good things for people. I want to help people. I want to protect and encourage and nurture different people and into becoming their true selves and to live with integrity and not bow down to others, etc. I think that's a pretty good thing. My energies don't make me bad. A demon isn't bad because it's a demon. Um, there is some religious beliefs that tie into that. I understand that your religion can and your belief system can, oh, demons are bad. particularly when related to Christianity or other like-minded beliefs. I understand that, but that's not how it is. But you're welcome to believe that if that's in line with your wishes, and I won't disparage you from that. But in my experience, everyone is an individual. We all have our unique personalities because we're individuals. Our energies and our origins do not determine our personalities. Our experiences do, and lots of other things. But it's a topic for another day. So, white typically refer to light spirits, life spirits, spirits that want to do good, work with light things. Greys, the in between, and black is demons, dark beings, etc. In my personal shop, I do an alignment system. It's actually based on Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm not ashamed to admit. Um, Feels like a little bit of a cop out, but it was the best I could come up with at the time. So like lawful good, true neutral, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, chaotic neutral, etc. Just to say, this is what that person's sort of behavior sits at. Then neutral, pretty chill. They'll go off their own whims and desires. Other spirits, pretty chaotic with how they might react and respond to things. So it's sort of the alignment system I have in place doesn't. Um, I guess it does actually group their personalities, but I do make reference that a spirit's personality is their own. It can change at a whim, just like let's say you have a friend. They're big, tall, strong, but they're really gentle. The gentle giant stereotype. Okay, they're always really lovely, charismatic, gentle, caring. But one day you push too far, they snap and they throw you through a window. It's the same thing with spirits. You have their personality, but it can change under different pressures and the environment and the situation. We all have the capability to respond aggressively to someone who's being aggressive towards us or violent or abusive or whatever. We all have those parts inside of us. But we do have that sort of dormant personality. But we're all capable of doing things outside of our normal personality too, based on what we're given. Okay? So spirits, individuals, they're living people. Treat them like that. Make friendships, make bonds. Don't treat them like they're on a pedestal. Admittedly, some spirits are really, primordials in particular. They're old. They've been around since the very beginning. They helped shape the universe to be what it is today. Be respectful of them. Be open-minded and listen to them. But you don't need to bow down to them. Don't need to worship them. You can take what they say with a pinch of salt and go your own way, your own path. You don't need to be subservient to them. Same with deities, okay? They're younger than primordials, they weren't there at the very start, they came in later. A lot of them are still wise, have a lot of abilities and power, and can affect the world, but we don't need to bow down to them. We don't need to be subservient, okay? Live your own way, go your own path. If your path is to have a patron deity, that's fine. That's not me, but that's okay for you. Good on you. Okay, so with spirit keeping, we're going to keep this going. We have the use of spirit vessels or bindings, basically. So we have a willing spirit, and we have a willing incarnated person, and we bind them together. We establish a connection between the two, spirit and the person, and that's basically the connection for their relationship. Okay? You can bind a spirit to a vessel, i.e., as I said, jewelry. Um, I've got this Mobius circle iron necklace, just with a sort of black rope, I guess. It could be a jewelry box. It could be a coin. It doesn't have to be metal. It could be wood, stone, some sort of gemstone. It can be whatever you want it to be. It's generally recommended that you bind something to something that is durable and can last a long time, like metal, something metallic or something with a dense composite or composition, something that won't just break one day. You want something to last a long time. Otherwise, you can bind a spirit directly to your soul, to your person, so that connection's formed. When you're binding a spirit, it's the way I do my spirit bindings, for example, is it's to one part each being, so 50-50. So you've got energy from the spirit, you've got energy from the individual. You create a thread, a connection. That way, the connection is consensual. At any time, the spirit or the person can break the connection and say, "Hey, thanks for the experience. Time for me to go. I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to be bound to you spiritually anymore." You know, and that's okay. So 50-50, we establish that connection, which is consensual. Either side can break it, and the deed is done. You know, things are all set. Okay, we covered a lot in a short amount of time. I'm going to keep this pretty short. So, spirit keeping is the act of having a spirit bound to you for companionship, to learn, to grow together, all manner of relationships. Please remember, spirits are the same as us. They're not this, granted, there are some deities and beings of that high level out there, but they're just people. They still have to tend to their needs. They still have their own dreams, aspirations. They're just like us. Treat them like they're a human being. They might not be, but treat them like a human being. Be respectful, be kind, be courteous. Show pleasantries. Okay? Make friendships. Don't force connections either. Never force something on a spirit. I see a lot of forced bindings these days. Um, the spirit can and will just break the binding if you force it on them, and they may screw with you in a very bad way. Some spirits, depending on the strength of the person doing the binding, may not be able to break it, but they will not be happy with this arrangement and will try and screw with you. Okay? We don't want to force anyone into any sort of relationship or connection they're not comfortable with. Okay? Don't do it. If you should be, if you're performing bindings, you should be able to speak with the spirit, understand what they're saying clearly, and listen to their will, basically. Spirits have different personalities, okay? It's all individual based. It's not determined by energies, origins, what magics they work with, etc. It's all just individual based. Jimmy's a dick because he's a dick. Clarissa is a nice person because she wants to be a nice person. It's as simple as that, okay? There's never going to be one good alignment system for spirits in terms of spirit bindings, but we do the best we can, and that's why I use my system. So it works for me a bit better. And we've obviously discussed spirit vessels and direct bindings. Um, that's all we're going to talk about today. I might make a part two for anything I've missed. I'm sorry it was pretty fast paced. I'm trying to keep these videos under 20 minutes to make it a bit of an easier listen rather than locking yourself in for half an hour at a time, which no one really wants to do unless you're going to listen to the background. And I'd personally rather listen to my own shows, my own in the background noise, rather than someone talk about this sort of stuff. If you have any questions, anything I spoke about, any suggestions for the next video, or any other videos, because I will be releasing other videos such as on energy work, energy affinities, and much more. Leave comments, leave suggestions, send me a message, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Have a great day, and thank you for listening.